So I'm here to demonstrate Sculpture Studio and how when we create a sculpture they all must have a type of skin. So when I say skin, I mean you have to color it or decorate it or do something to make it more interesting. So usually here we make a lot of our sculptures out of cardboard, so I'm going to be demonstrating on pieces of cardboard, okay? So one of the first ways you can make a skin is with marker. So this is just bare cardboard, nothing is on top of it. When you create a sculpture, it is fine to use the cardboard, but a lot of us forget that, oh yeah, we can decorate it. So you want to think of your design, think of how you're going to make it, think of how it's going to look. Because as artists, we need to know what it's going to look like, okay? We have to make it pretty to look at. That's our job. Make it interesting to look at. So here I'm just using marker straight on the cardboard. You guys pretty much know how to use marker. But the thing is, if you're going to make anything 3D where we can see the front, the back, and the sides, that means you have to decorate all of that too. So sometimes with cardboard you're going to get little pieces like this that have print on them, because usually the cardboard that we have is from old like boxes that have some print on it that maybe have been mailed. So you can choose what to do with that. You can just leave it as it is, or you can incorporate it into your design somehow, or try to cover it up. Now with marker, it's not going to cover up anything printed on your cardboard. So you might need to think about how to incorporate that, which is a challenge, but a good challenge. Okay, so since this has a little black mark, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to go with it. And make another black mark, and now it looks like it's there on purpose, and since I did it on that side, I'm going to do it all on this side as well. And this I'm just using Sharpie or black marker on top, giving it a skin. Okay, so my plan with this sculpture was to create a little tree, that's why I chose green, and then I just went with the black, and now I think that's just a cool, interesting, artistic choice. And I made slits, one on the top of this triangle, one on the bottom of this triangle, and I'm going to slide them together. Okay, and now I kind of have something that kind of looks like a tree, like a type of a pine tree maybe. And it has a skin, so now it's prettier to look at. It's not just straight cardboard. So you can use marker. Here is an example of a sculpture I made using oil pastels straight onto cardboard. You can blend. Here I blended with blue and with white. Down here this is paint, so we're going to lead this into paint, but you can do marker, oil pastel. This gives a nice bright color. If you want to paint, here's a sculpture that I made, and I pre-painted it with white because I really wanted the paint to show up nice and bright. Sometimes when we paint on the cardboard, because it is that sort of brown color, it doesn't show up as bright, so that's why I did white first. And now I'm going in with my paint. And you might realize this paint's a little thin, so that probably means you're going to have to do more than one coat. That's okay, because good art takes time. Don't feel like you have to rush through a sculpture. Sculptures take a long time. I've worked on sculptures for months. And it's always worth it in the end if you put the time in. Yes, you might get tired. Yes, you might not want to do it anymore, but push through it. Okay? So in painting this here, so this is another way you can show a skin is with paint. Now painting on sculptures can be tricky because you kind of have to hold it sometimes, which means you're going to get paint on your hands. If you don't want to hold it, you can obviously set it down, but I find it easier to hold it in my hand than to set it down. But it's up to you and the way you work. Okay, so this is paint. Paint is one way you can make a skin. The way you can make a skin is with paper. So here's a piece of cardboard, and I kind of have a little just relief sculpture planned out in my brain here, and I need to cover this with paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the collage cart and I'm going to get a color, and I'm going to lay my shape on that paper and I'm going to trace it. And this is all just scrap paper from old assignments, but I don't like to throw it away because we can reuse it. And then I'm going to cut that shape out. And you're going to cover your cardboard with the paper, so that's how you're giving it a skin. So you need to put some glue on the cardboard. Lay the paper right on top. And now it has a skin. Now I can't tell that it's cardboard. Now it looks just like a beautiful colored piece of paper. But it's sturdy with the cardboard. Okay, and then the final way is you can wrap fabric around a sculpture, or you can wrap yarn around a sculpture. So I'm going to show you yarn. So here's just a little baby toilet paper roll that I cut in half, and I'm going to layer some glue all around. I'm going to do probably about halfway down, so that way I don't have to stop and re-glue. Just going to put glue all the way around, and then I'm going to take some yarn or string or whatever, or ribbon, whatever we got, whatever you want to use. And you just wrap it, kind of like a mummy. But when you wrap it, you want to make sure that the yarn is staying close to each other so we're not seeing that cardboard. We want it to be covered up with the pretty yarn. When I'm halfway through, I will glue the bottom. Okay, so having a skin to your sculpture, you can use marker, oil pastels, paint. So here I have layered colors of paint. I started with blue, added pink and purple, and then I used Sharpie to add design. So this is a nice example of adding a skin, creating something a little more meaningful and special. You can do paper. So here's a little sculpture I made where I glued paper to create the skin, and then fabric or yarn. Okay, so those are your options for making a skin for your sculpture.